Welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen. It's really two programs in one. This is a series that appeals to your creative side. Food that is sumptuous stuff. How could that be? This is a program about people who want to eat healthy and reduce calories. Actually, it's about food with an aromatic quality that fills the nose. Oh, sure. But it's also about keeping my arteries clean by reducing fat. But it doesn't mean a thing if the food isn't rich and colorful. Maximize the flavor. Okay, but I must have healthy food that I can cook in minutes. I must minimize the risk. So welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen, where we get our heads together just for you. And great welcome. Wonderful, lovely to have you here. Look, I tell you what we're going to do. Do you love picnics and sort of getting out even when it's pouring with rain, especially when it's that? Well, I'm going to try something with a picnic. As usual, it's going to be a little bit of a technique, first of all, very unusual crust. And then what I'll do is actually get into some kind of enormous, wonderful dish, creative stuff, which we call springboarding into that second part of the program. Okay? All right. Now, rice crust is what this is all about. And I got to thinking, if you just take a sort of side view of a quiche, you know, quiche is really fat and flour put together with a nice crumpled edge on the top, and then quite possibly streaked through the quiche would be either eggs, ham, mushrooms fried in a little butter, you know, crusted with cheese on the top. Am I getting to you? I know, getting to me. And so if you took just the anatomy of a picnic quiche to take out with you, it would have to have a lot of fat plus a lot of flour, and as a result, a lot of calories. All right? Now, what I'm going to try and do is to do a completely radical technique of putting an unusual ingredient right the way through the crust and then doing something quite different inside so as to start reducing the fat and maybe even replacing flour altogether. In fact, not even maybe. We'll do it. All right? Interested in that one? Okay. Let's have a go. And the way that you actually get rid of the flour altogether is rice. You know, about 6 out of every 10 people in the whole world subsist on rice. So it's not surprising, and I don't know, we call this fusion, you know, an Asian concept, you know, mixed with Western idea. All right, good. Well, here I've got 4 cups of water going at the boil, and put into there long grain rice, just tip it in 1 cup of long grain rice. And then it'll come back to the heat quite quickly, and about 1/8 of a teaspoonful of salt in there. Even if you've been told, you know, stay off salt altogether, please do me this favor. This 1/8 of a teaspoon's okay. It's not going to do any harm. And really, it just sparks it up a little bit. Otherwise, it's very dull. All right, good. Let's bring that up to the boil. Now, here is the same amount of rice which has been cooked, and I just took it off the boil to stop it from cooking too much. 10 minutes, that's how, just 10 minutes. So take a strainer like this one, and just pour the rice out, and then put just underneath there, just one, don't you like that magic thing? Just 1 inch of water in the bottom of the saucepan, and put that on the top again, and you see this is coming to the boil now. Put a lid on the top of that. Now, when you're serving rice normally, that will now boil up underneath to steam, and will steam that rice out just at the last moment, and you get really good rice. All right, but I want to use this just in its strained condition. Drain it out of the water, and get that out, and whack it into a bowl. All right. Now, that's hot, right? So here I just want to add 1/4 cup of cheese. And this cheese, by the way, if you take a good look at it, this is Monterey dry Jack cheese. It's characterized by this brown, heavy rind on the outside. It's a great cheese, very good, made in California, and very good for this kind of a deal. All right, so we've got the rice, and we're going to season this with just a 1/4 cup of the rice, exactly 1/4 cup. Oh, by the way, if you're going to buy cheese in a block, which I think, by the way, is much better than the stuff you can get in a packet, which is already grated. Now, I don't want to ever say anything wrong or upsetting to anybody, but that stuff, you know, kind of, I don't like it. So I buy the cheese in a block and then get just any old plastic bag and just clip it tight. Keep it in the fridge. It'll last and last, and you'll really enjoy it. Okay, so that's done. 1/4 teaspoonful of black pepper. And I had been using white when it came to white things, but gosh, it's so nice to be able to say to people, look, see the black pepper? There's flavor in it. And then just a little bit more of the salt. Now, come on, Graham. Now, you're overdoing. No, I'm not, truly. It's just the same 1/8 teaspoonful here. So that brings it up to 1/4 teaspoonful altogether. And that's very important. Okie doke. Good. One thing just to bind that mix together is just a little egg white. You don't have to worry about the temperature, you know, and all this stuff that we're hearing about recently with egg white, because this bakes in the oven, kills any little bugs. Stone dead. They die at about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Any temperature over that for more than 10, 15 minutes, it's gone. Okay, so just pour in the egg white. Now you've got quite a combination, because you can just simply stir this together, and so you get cheese flavored, hung together with the egg white, well seasoned, salt and pepper, and it smells good too. You know, it's such an important test of how a thing's going to taste, whether the aroma's really there when you're actually cooking something like this. This is a great idea, by the way. All right, then you move it together as if it's kind of like a ball. Just smash it together in the pan like so, and then get out whatever you're going to use as the quiche dish. All right. Now, in this case, I've just used the cheapest possible non-stick pan. All right, let's get this out of the way. You could use a really nice, if you're going to present the thing at a table, you know, or take it out on a picnic and take it with you, then take one of these ceramic ones and just give it a very light dusting of oil on the top surface. And then do it just exactly like this, but I thought you'd like to see it this way. Okay, little water on the side, and that will help you to feel much happier about this if you have just a little water. Make it a nice round piece and even so that you can do this easily. Press it down to begin with in the pan. Just run up with your finger towards it. Now, if you go through and the pan becomes bare underneath, don't worry. Just get a little bit of the rice and just poke it down. You just need to, you're making a crust. And as you press this out, you're pressing it into the corner of the pan. Make sure that you've got enough to make it go into the corner of the pan. Nice and even. Run out all the way around the outside. The more even the ball shape is at the beginning, the better. And you'll find yourself getting all messy with your fingers. Then just keep the water on the side, and it'll be so easy to do. And then just press it up at the side. Just keep pressing it, and get a firm little crown around the top of the dish at about 1/2 inch. And if you do that, it'll be working just well. All right. See how it sticks? And then see how easy it is when you just wipe it out. Great. I hope you're going to do this. It's such an easy thing. And all right, so that goes into the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and stands there for about 30 minutes, and that dries out. And then you've got, it falls down to the bottom oven, and here it is. This is what it looks like. It creeps back a little bit, you see, like so. But it's like this. It's like a wonderful discus. It's so fine and lace-like and crispy and great stuff. Now, I don't know what you like as a filling, but you could put your own filling in there. But here's a rather neat idea. In the pan here, I've got 3 potatoes, very finely sliced. And you can slice those with a knife, or you can get one of these sort of mandolin cutter things, which do terribly thin slices, or you can put it through one of these slicing machines. Okay, whatever we're doing, you're going to do it nice. Cup of stock, of beef stock, and about 2 teaspoonfuls of fresh thyme and some black pepper. And just cook those until they're nice and tender. And at the same time, have ready a little of this egg substitute stuff. Always give it a good shake before you use it. And then pour that into the bottom of that, you know, just to get the bottom soaked up and ready for the rest of it. Okay. And, oh, it's right in front of me, folks. And then you take the poached, what are these? Potatoes, and which have been poaching in, of course, the beef stock, and with that seasoning, with the thyme, just magnificent. And take some fried onions and scatter the fried onions on the top. Look at it, look. And then take some fresh thyme there as well. There's lots of pepper in it, so you don't have to keep on adding pepper. Then put another layer of the egg substitute on, and then fill it up with the rest of the potato, okay? And just keep on going until you fill the whole thing up with layers of onion and thyme and potato. This is a knockout. And then find just some really nice slices at the end, and just lay those decoratively on the top so that they go round like so, okay? Just lay them out. If they're nice and thin, they'll just do fine. How's that? And then on top of that, just a little spray. If you've got this spray stuff, it's kind of fun. Just give it a little whack of the old spray and put that into the oven. Remember, we did the first one. Now it's the second time that the oven. And this goes in here. Oh, it actually goes in here. We'll get to it. Goes in the top, again at 350, 375 rather, and just takes about 35 minutes out from the top bottom. Okay, a little spread of the fresh thyme leaves on the top, and a little bit of parsley on the top of that surface. And then all you have to do is just to drive a knife blade into it, pull it back. There we go. And should just about have it made. Little plate here. And of course you take this out, you know, to the picnic ground in the dish, complete. And there it is. Whoops. Yeah. Ooh. Looks nice. A little more of the fresh thyme on there like that. And just to let people know that you know about pepper, just a little bit there. Okay. Let's have a look at the numbers, and I'll show you just exactly how that looks. Come on. Okay, now, going to compare that with a regular quiche, all right? And then we'll see actually how it works. What I was really trying to do, you see, is to replace the fat with rice and just a little bit of cheese in there to give it, you know, the flavor, which is what we always try and do. And trying to take fat out, then you've got to try and get the flavor in. Okay. 448 calories was the classic quiche here. We've got that down to 279. Under 300 calories, that's pretty good. Look at the fat. Now here, we've got actually 23 grams of fat in the classic. That's about a third of the day, just on its own, without anything else. This comes down to just 2 grams, of which 1 of those grams only is saturated, as against 10, which is good stuff. And then the percentage of calories from fat is a wonderful 7% as a result. You know, that is so good to think that you can have a slice of pie out, French call it picnic pie, you know, out there, and only 7% of calories from fat. Okay, cholesterol, 3, whistling down, whatever that means. 348 milligrams of sodium, not bad, even when you consider what I put into it. And then 4 is the dietary fiber. So, now, out there, of course, in the picnic thing, probably not knife and fork time, but oh boy, look, I'll tell you, this is neat. Get the onions so that they're not overcooked, so that they're a little crunchy, and the thyme. And that cheese crust with the rice is really unusual. It really works well. Okay, ready to springboard in your own way? Always do that. Okay, my springboard is going to be this seafood one with scallops and sole and shrimp and mushrooms, and turn it all in together and pile it up nice and high. Really, a good exotic type thing. Ready? Ready to be exotic? Come on, let's have a go. Okay, this one is phenomenal. That one's phenomenal. This one just it slides up above it slightly. Make the rice crust just exactly as we said before. You see, this is a kind of soggy discus that it turns out to be. It's crisp on the top, and it just cooks through on that last bit. So you've made all of that. That's the basic idea. And now let's get into this one. Here's just a half, or actually a full teaspoonful. It's looking a little lonely on there, but there it goes. And whilst that's heating up, these right here, if you've ever seen this and wondered what they are, they have a papery, sort of light brownish skin on the outside. And when you peel them in, they're purple. And this is a shallot. And for those people, you really need your shallots for the dish. But for those people who, if you've got any sort of problem with onions, and they sort of upset you a little bit, try these. I'm not saying they'll completely work, but there's a theory around that the shallot for some people who are allergic to onions is just tremendous. Look, pulse that just a half a dozen times, and take the little top out, and then with the hot oil there, just shake those down into the pan, and just move that around. And that heady aroma that's coming off it straight away. It's not like a garlic, it's not like an onion, it's just between the two, if you like. All right, put the little blade back in on top, and here's some mushrooms. Now these are 8 ounces of mushrooms, it's 4 ounces of shallots, and double the quantity. Obviously the volume is enormously larger, and you can just about cram them in. And there we go. And these are made into a thing which is really called a mirepoix. And mirepoix is really to cut something into about 1/4-inch pieces. If you just pulse it like this, a little pulse machine, you can actually get it down into the tiny little bits that you need for the dish. You just be patient. It takes about 10 or 15 pulses, and it goes down, and you've got what we call the tunnel of love. Look. See? It's just this. It's this wonderful nest of mushrooms that you get from it. Okay, so these are going well here. Just take those and just tap them in. That's good. And then just give it a shake around here. And, I'd like to suggest to you that you give this about 5 minutes. If you give it 5 minutes, what will happen is the mushroom, which is so full of liquid, it's sort of like this now, and gradually, as it heats, it will shrivel up a little bit, and a juice will come out of it. And the juice really should be expressed from this before. You'll notice in the final dish that there are little gaps you'll find in the mix when it's sort of in layers. And that's come as a result of too much liquid that comes out of the mushroom. So try and get those cooked over a fair heat, about a medium heat, and coming down nicely. Good. All right. A little salt just goes in there. Just a little drop of salt, not too much. And some freshly ground black pepper. Just shake that in. About 1/4 teaspoonful of that. We need quite a lot of it. Oh, great. Okay. Now, when that's doing, here is the seafood side of it. This is a piece of sole, and sole or flounder, if you like. And this is cut into what is called goujon, or fingers. And it's where the original fish fingers came from, I guess. And then just got 6 ounces of fish fingers, and just pop those down on the top, just roll them. And look, snow white sole against a bed of mushrooms in the bottom. Looks fabulous. And then here, I've got 8 ounces of, 12 ounces actually, of scallops. And these are the rather large scallops. These are the weather vane scallops down from Alaska. And so if you've got smaller ones, then please just go ahead with the smaller ones. And you don't need to cut them in such small pieces. All right. Turned around, mushrooms brought up in there, all combined together. And then shrimp. Now here's just 6 ounces of shrimp. Lay the shrimp down there like this. Get a nice sharp blade. Run it down the back, and then just see whether there's an advanced sand track in there. You'll see it if there's a sand track. Then just peel it off, and there it is. It's done. and save, please save. Put in a little plastic bag all the shrimp shells. And those will be fabulous later on for a great stock for a seafood soup or something of that nature. All right, so stirring all of that in together. Look, see how it comes? Smashing. A little bit of salt in there, just a touch. And some fresh thyme. If you can make this fresh thyme, dried thyme is one of those, herbs which go so well, but in this case, just about a teaspoonful and a half of that fresh thyme stirred in there, and then that bright note, all right, that where it peaks right up, is just a little bit of lemon. So the lemon, just simply drop it in here. Don't run the risk, please, of having lemon juice with pits in it. I mean, that sort of sends a signal to me, that you don't care. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 teaspoonfuls. The juice of half a lemon should do just fine. Now, stir it all in together. Looks great. Now, out with the crust that we had before. Shake up the egg substitute and just anoint the bottom, just gently. Just shake it over. And then we just need to pile it in. Let me see. And there, look at it. And the smell is gorgeous with the shrimp and the sole there and the scallops. Just press them out. Press them really down tight. And you say, oh, come on, Graham, that looks as if it's ruinous to it. Not at all. When you see how it actually bubbles up, it's amazing. Now you just fill in all the cracks. Just look for the cracks and fill them in. And then more mix on the top. I mean, just keep on belting it in, and it will all go in, I promise you. Every little spot. Heap it up on the top because it will gradually drop down as it's cooking. Great. Now, a little bit more of the egg substitute on the top. Just pour it in. Look at that. Look at it. Pour it all over like this. And then just a little bit of the cheese. All right? Now, just take it from the bag and stroke it over the top. Just about a tablespoonful of that cheese over the top surface. Good. Into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 degrees centigrade. Open it up at the bottom. Yep. And, oh, I can smell it. Fantastic. A little bit of fresh parsley over the top. Look, and it's just crisp and brown. Just a little bit of cayenne pepper, of paprika, just over the top, just to give it some little bit of color. And let's dive in. Oh, it went crunch. It did a crunch on me, just as it came through. Oh, good. Here we are. And slide it out. Now, this would be just great at a dinner party, wouldn't it? It truly is the sort of thing that you can serve as a dinner party. A great salad on the side, some fresh thyme on the top, just a little bit of that black pepper all over the top of it. Wonderful. Bit of parsley as well. Let's have a look at the numbers. Come through. Okay, so there it is. There. Oh, that looks nice. All luscious lumps. That is our dish. This is the one which is the more compacted egg custard one with shrimp in the center. Good topping of cheese. Looks nice. And made with wheat, of course. There is one advantage of mine as well, and that is that if you're suffering from a wheat allergy of some kind, well, you could use this instead. All right, 270 calories, so we come in under the 300. Fat was 22. This is down to 4. Saturated fat, only 1 gram of saturated fat. Percentage of calories from fat then just makes it 13, and that's an amazing total. 93 in cholesterol, 674 in sodium, right down, and 1 up on fiber. I love being 1 up on fiber. Okay, quick nosh. This, you just need a fork. It just simply falls apart before you. Look at it. Oh, so neat. Oh, it's tender. It tastes wonderful. And the seafood is just spout with the lemon and the thyme. Great dish. Do try it. Don't forget, squeeze out all the moisture from the mushrooms in the beginning. Don't have it too wet. Okay, thanks for being with me once again. God bless you. Love to all your friends.